So synergy is this, 1 + 1 equals what? Well, it should be equal 2, but actually equals more than 2. Yeah, 11, 10, whatever, exponentially. And what I mean by that, this is say, well, Jamie, how did you become wealthy faster than the average person? Well, was it because I was better looking than the average person? Yes or no? Was it because I was more intelligent than other people? Yes or no? No, it's because I was using synergy. Just combining strategy. In other words, most of us start with a job. Is that true? Job, or we set up our own business at some point. That's where a lot of wealth is created. What we tend to do to become wealthy is we surplus income, we pour over into the what market? Property market. So the most wealth in this country has typically been this. People will have a job, they will pour their excess cash into property, and they're buying property predominantly for what? Cash flow or what? For capital growth. Buy and hold long term is the most common strategy. There's many other strategies, but most common. Buy and hold over a long period of time has created significant wealth for a large majority of people that have become wealthy in this country. That's pretty much. So what they've had, the average person has just got this working for them, their job, no leverage. Person A could be just working the same job, same income all their life as person B. Person B, though, works no harder, but saves some of their money and puts a deposit down on a property, or properties over their lifetime. At the end of age 65, person B is a self-made millionaire. Hasn't worked any harder, had the same income, same job, same opportunity than person A. No more intelligent. The only thing they did was get themselves to face their fears and take action. That's what they did back in the past. Let me ask you this question. Who here, if you could wind the clock back 10, 15, 20 years, would have loved to have bought more real estate in Australia? Okay? That's called hindsight. Okay? To become a millionaire, we have to have what? Foresight. Foresight means we have to be able to act now, in the moment. Because people say, yeah, that's all right for those in the past. I've missed that opportunity. I missed the property boom, etc. Therefore, I've missed out. That's what people said 20 years ago as well. Do you know what I'm saying? They said that 30 years ago. They said in Sydney that property prices in the 90s, early 90s, could never go any higher. What happened? They said in the early 80s, property prices in Sydney could never go any higher. They said that in the 70s as well. Let me ask you this question. Who here would recommend to your son or daughter, you know what? Don't buy your home now. I reckon you should wait 15, 20 years. It'll be much cheaper then. Even in a flat property market, you're going to recommend that? Now, if they lived in America, sure. Okay? Just wait a few months and you get it heaps cheaper. So, the point is leverage. Do you see this? It's not brainstorm stuff. It's just a matter of saying, just our ability to get ourselves to act and do something. You say, what is the difference between people that don't make it and people that do financially? It all comes down to that Nike ad. Is that true? It comes down to just do it, which means they're able to just get themselves to do something in that moment, and over time, that's led to a different result. You're saying, is it that's the difference between people that become millionaires or don't? Well, it's a big part of it. Some people in this country become millionaires from 1 or 2 property investments. Do you realize that over time? It hasn't been that hard. It's in that moment to get themselves to act. So what stops people from acting is a thing called what? Fear. Fear of losing. Okay? And that fear, that pain attached to that will stop people from often taking action. Okay? And let me give you a quick example of that. And a great analogy of that. What people are afraid of is this. Let's say in investment property, you have a house. Okay, I'm getting attacked here by... Okay, so that's a house, right? And let's say it's $300,000. And let's say it's an investment property. And let's say it's after rent and tax benefits, it's costing you $300 a month. Okay? That's, say, $3,600 a year. What does the average Australian link to $3,600 a year? Pain or pleasure? They link pain to that. Why? Because they're going, I'm already paying off my home, now I've got to pay off another mortgage. 1, that equals pain, and 2, the fear. What if the property price doesn't go up? Okay, so there's a lot of fear there. They'll do anything to avoid that potential loss or that pain. So a lot of people 10, 15, 20 years ago could have done this, but didn't. True? They could have went out and bought a property, but they didn't do it. Now, property on average has doubled every 10 years in Australia. It varies depending where you're on. Does it smoothly grow over the 10 years, or tends to over 2 or 3 years jump very rapidly and then flat for 4 or 5 years and then jump? True? Okay. Now, if you're not new to property, don't believe what I'm saying. Get out in your suburb, go and do the research what properties in your suburb were worth 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and you will soon find, my God, it's true. Okay? In most places. In some places, it's actually doubled faster than that. But usually it will spread itself out. So in the last 20 years, they've been doubling 6 or 7 years in many capital cities in adult. But now it's slowing it down. So you might get a period of what you've had, 3, 4, 5 years of flat, so it smooths itself out again. Okay? So the point is, the average person has said no to this. It's like, oh, that equals pain, so they'll avoid it. And didn't invest. But if I was to say, I teach teenagers sometimes about financial education and things like that, and if I teach them in a very different way, I help them explain. So if I was to reframe people to look at investing from a different angle and not link pain to it or be so fearful, I would reframe, in other words, like a window frame, change the view or the window that you're looking at investing and see it differently. What I would say to teenagers is this. When you start saving, you put money into a savings account at the bank and they pay you interest. I want you to think about property investing as this. Just think as a savings account, but it's different to a savings account. This account is a special magical account, and what it's called is an investment property loan account. Okay, it's an investment property loan account. And the way it works is this. What you've got to do is come up with $300 a month into this investment property loan account, and you can get as many loan accounts as you possibly can. Okay, there's heaps of them out there. And what you can do, $300 a month, you have to put in every month, and at the end of the year, you'll save up $3,600. If you don't put in every month, you go back to zero. But at the end of the year, this magical property investment loan account, the $3,600 you put in there over the year, what will happen is we will credit that account with $30,000. Now think if you're a teenager. If I put $3,600 in, I get $30,000 at the end of the year. Does that equal pain or pleasure? Tell me. Pleasure. See, teenagers can get that, but I'm trying to educate fully matured adults, okay? They often don't get that. So what am I talking about? Is there such things as a magical investment property loan account? Yes or no? There actually is. It's an investment loan account, because what happens over time, if this property goes in 10 years' time is worth $600,000, on average, how much has it gone up a year? 300,000 over 10 years, 30,000 a year on average, okay? $30,000. You've got an investment property loan account, a magical account. You've had to put $3,600 in, the shortfall and the rent and your tax benefits over the course of the year. Magically, at the end of the year, it's credited $30,000. Now, it's not credited to your actual account, it's credited to the equity value of your home. Is that not the same thing? Who's following what I'm saying here? If we looked at it, that's called reframing. If we looked at it in a different way, we go, okay, I can see this as a bit of pain. I'm going to have to put some effort in to get this, but here's the potential reward. No guarantees, but let's look at history and let's look what's possible. And then we can look at it and go, actually, that equals pleasure. Let me ask you this question. I know some of you are already members and are already been doing a lot of this stuff for some time. Who here in the room right now already links more pleasure to investing than pain? Who already links? Many people. Who still, naturally, especially if you're a guest here, links maybe a little bit of fear still and uncertainty to investing? Okay, naturally, it'd be natural. So when we can change what we associate to, I don't have to motivate myself to invest. I'm just naturally driven. I enjoy it because it's a hobby. I link pleasure to it. And I'm also seeing the potential reward versus the outlay, where most people just look at the pain because they'll do more to avoid the pain of losing than they will to gain the pleasure of making money. And therefore, that is why most people in a rich country will never be rich, because they'll do more to avoid this than to get this. And you know what's great about that? We don't want everyone out there doing it. Do you know why? Because that gives you the opportunity that other people have but don't take. Because I used to think, I want to help everyone to be rich, and then I changed my mind. I thought, why do I want to do that? I don't. I only want to help those that are willing to help themselves. Because helping people that aren't committed is a complete waste of time. Is that true? Ever tried to help someone that's really not committed? Frustrates you, and guess what? Frustrates them too. So what I realized is that I'm prepared to help people who are willing to help themselves. So when we understand this, what's great about society is this. The fact is this. Don't tell everyone to go and do this stuff.